These are the Dragons, the 5 multimillionaire investors on their way to the den. There, tonight, they will make or break the business dreams of dozens of budding entrepreneurs and inventors.
You've made yourself uninvestable the minute you started.
If you could get something wrong, you've done it.
I really do not like this. It absolves people of responsibility.
And after 6 weeks in the den, what's happened to other brave entrepreneurs since they faced the Dragons?
It's just been moving so fast my feet hasn't touched ground.
The Dragons know what they're talking about. Powerful and wealthy now, they all built up their own fortunes from scratch. Deborah Meaden made her millions in the holiday and leisure industry in the West Country. Duncan Bannatyne is a Glaswegian entrepreneur whose £170 million empire includes health clubs, hotels and casinos. Theo Paphitis is a retail magnate who's transformed the fortunes of high street brands like Ryman, Licenza, Partners and Contessa. Richard Farley is based in Monaco and made his fortune as an investment banker and hedge fund manager, and he's now a prolific investor in UK startup companies. Peter Jones is one of Britain's most successful entrepreneurs. His multi-million-pound business empire ranges from telecoms and property to the media. In the den, the Dragons are ready to back the right businesses with their own money. But tonight, will anyone convince them to invest? Welcome to the Dragons' Den. Now, every one of the entrepreneurs who comes here to pitch to the Dragons is convinced their business or invention could make millions if they can just secure that vital cash injection to move them forward. The Dragons are prepared to invest, but it's their own money they're risking, so only the very best ideas will secure their backing. And first into the den today is Glasgow-based Myra Ostacini, who came up with her business idea while trekking in China. She's now looking for £60,000 of investment. But remember, the rules of Dragon's Den state that she has to get at least that, or she goes away empty-handed.
Hi there, my name's Myra Ostacini, and I'm here to present to you invisiblecoach.com. I'm looking for £60,000, and it's in exchange for 30% of equity. Invisiblecoach.com is an online coaching and resource website, and what we aim to do is to give affordable coaching to everyone. The products we actually have are 3 products, and the first one is information topics. The information topics are PDF files that can be downloaded, and they're regarding challenges that come up in everyday life, not just regarding work life. The second product that we have is telephone coaching, and the telephone coaching is for approximately 1 hour, and it's live person to person, obviously on the telephone. The first one is £5 for the information topic, the second one is £50 for the telephone coaching. The third product that we have is this one here, and this is the unique USP. This is actually a new way of coaching. It's completely different and never been done before. The difference is that you can go online and you can actually fill in a 5-question template. At the bottom, you can ask the coach a question. This is really so you can go through mentally your challenge before you get to the bottom, and it's based on NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. So for £10 you can come on, fill the template in, and then you can actually take off and take the responsibility to actually take the information back and go off and use it. This has just started. It's taken a long time to work through the proper way to do it, to road test it. The reason I've come up with this idea is that through experience of going out and coaching chief executives and management teams, the more and more I looked at the communication skills in organisations and what was going on, really it was a two-way thing. We really had to get the massive staff to go through coaching. So the target market is blue chip organisations. The idea is to sell packages of £5,000, and it's like an annual fee. And that's the end. Would anybody like to ask any questions about it?
Myra Ostakini needs a £60,000 investment to launch Invisible Coach, an online lifestyle coaching company. But her pitch has confused former Millwall chairman Theo Pafitis.
Myra.
Yes.
When I think of coach, I think a bloke with football boots on running around the pitch.
Yeah.
I think of somebody coaching athletes. I mean, you're now talking to me about a lifestyle, are you?
Yes, it comes under many labels. It comes under lifestyle coaching, life coaching. There's 2 or 3.
So you want to sell me some lifestyle coaching for
Yes.
my staff, or
Yes.
me, or who?
Anyone in your organisation, we see that all the team's important.
You're doing the manager's
Yes,
job?
this is a key point, because sometimes we don't always have the managers in the right position, and not all managers are emotionally intelligent. And predominantly what we are trained in is NLP, neuro-linguistic programming.
Neuro?
Linguistic programming. And it's really about what your self-talk is, or what your attitude or your belief system is towards anything, basically, from organisation.
What qualifies you? What qualifies you?
The
to do
NLP
this?
qualification.
So how many years did you actually study to get this qualification?
Personally,
Yeah.
I've probably had an apprenticeship with 2 of the people that I've worked with who do motivational training.
That wasn't the answer to my question. Which
No,
university did you go to study for this qualification?
No, you actually don't go to university.
You don't go to university?
You study with a master practitioner. You have to study, you have to go through examinations, you have to...
Who runs the examination?
The master NLP practitioner.
He does?
Yes.
Well, that's ended all my questions then. Thanks.
Okay.
It's a full interrogation, Theo Pafitis style, and Deborah Meaden is quick to follow on.
Myra, are you saying this replaces any human interaction at all? So in other words, you coach people by sitting them in front of a screen and saying, fill in this and read that?
Yes, because we find sometimes that people can
that's
actually
probably
approach
all I
anybody.
needed to know. I hate this kind of response to what could well be issues
I
in the
understand
workplace.
what you're saying, I do.
Well, I hate it, and the reason I really don't like it, you've just talked about emotional intelligence. I don't know how much emotional intelligence you think that computer screen is going to give off to the individual involved. This does not solve the issue at all. The issues you're talking about is down to good management, and that is everybody's responsibility to get good management.
Absolutely.
But if you haven't got good management, the answer is not to completely divest yourself of any responsibility and plonk somebody in front of a computer screen. I really do not like this. It absolves people of responsibility. So I'm afraid, it doesn't matter what your business plan's doing, I'm not going to encourage this, so I'm out.
Myra has felt the full force of Deborah Meaden's disapproval. Will Duncan Bannatyne see more potential for a £60,000 investment?
So it's called invisible coaching.
Yes.
Well, you know, just listening to you, I just think the purpose of it is invisible. The possible
anonymous.
customer base is invisible. The potential for profit is invisible. The exit strategy is invisible. So I just want to say I'm out.
Now Myra's pitch is in real trouble. Will any of the 3 remaining dragons come to her rescue?
Myra, what's your background?
I was in retail for 10 years, and I had my own company as well, designing clothes. And at one point, my life did take a turnaround, and I had a very traumatic turnaround in my life, and I really didn't know where to go. And sometimes you feel it very, very difficult to even go to your line manager or to go to somebody to talk to them. You can't actually sit in front of somebody and you can't actually get it out because you feel so low.
Yeah, this is the crux of the issue for me. All the life coaches out there,
Yes.
they describe themselves as life coaches.
Yes.
They make a fortune, and it's becoming almost a bit of a sect.
It is.
And I call it exploitation. And the reason why it's exploitation is because there is no substance. There's no substance because the people, and a majority of the people that call themselves life coaches, have never been there, they've never done it, they've never experienced it. And I'm not saying that you haven't, you've had that experience in your life. I would class you as a counsellor, and you're probably a very good one, because you will have been through the experience and you can teach others. To go and create a business now which is exploiting, exactly as Deborah said, poor management is not a business model, and I'm really worried. So I've got to declare myself out. I can't invest in something like this.
Okay.
Peter Jones has softened the blow, but it's a blow nevertheless. Only Richard Farley and Theo Pafitis now stand between Myra and a speedy expulsion from the den.
Hi Myra, I'm
Hi.
Richard. I think I just share the sentiments of the others. You know, I mean, you're trying to replace something which should be done in a personal way by doing it electronically, which I don't think works. So I'm out as well. Thanks a lot.
Myra, that just leaves me, and guess what? You're accused of exploiting poor management. Do you know, people have set up multi-billion-pound businesses doing exactly that. They're called consultants and accountants and all sorts of people. So that exists out there.
It does.
So I'm fully aware that exists. But the thought of somebody having an emotional problem and actually sitting in front of a computer and filling in forms it frightens me terribly. You haven't made a connection here with us, guys, have you?
No.
You haven't. So,
not at all.
so there's been no connection. There's not going to be any investment because I too am out. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for your time. I really
and good
appreciate
luck.
it. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thanks.
Thanks, Myra.
It's been a ruthless demolition by the Dragons, and Myra leaves the den with her bid for investment in tatters.
I think that seriously misses the point about counselling workplace issues.
That's a prime example of the problem.
Absolutely. Absolve myself. Go and read that.
Over the last 6 weeks, dozens of entrepreneurs and inventors have dared to face the Dragons, but very few ever win the multi-millionaire investors over. Stuart Saunders from Lowestoft wanted a massive £230,000 investment to develop his invention, the TileMate, designed to speed up putting tile adhesive onto walls.
This puts the adhesive straight on the wall. It is up to 3 to 4 times faster than conventional systems. And once you've put your adhesive on, you would stick your tiles on as such.
But Stuart quickly came unstuck when he tried to demonstrate his time-saving device. An unusually sympathetic Peter Jones had to give him a hand.
It's very kind.
You all right now?
Yeah. Last.
Stuart, I'm so sorry. You know what? You look remarkably like Buzz Lightyear.
Demo eventually over, Theo Paphitis was left bemused.
What's this infatuation with tiling? Because you're not
Well, I don't have any
tiler, are you?
infatuation with tiling at all. I'm infatuated about the stuff on them tables. Actually.
If you are infatuated with this, you might have to lose some of the infatuation with this.
And he wasn't the only dragon floored by the idea.
Stuart, I'm going to tell you really, really quickly. I don't think it's a good idea.
Peter Jones had the final word.
If I was to put £230,000 into this, I think my money would go into infinity and beyond because I would lose it. So I'm out.
Thanks, Stuart.
IT expert and amateur magician Andrew Reeves has teamed up with insurance consultant Dave Thomas. They want the Dragons to invest £200,000 in what they think will be a hugely profitable new craze.
Hi, I'm Andrew Reeves. We're here today to talk about the ISIS Adventure Series. We're looking for £200,000 of investment for a 15% stake in our business. The ISIS Adventure Series consists of 5 high-quality, precision-engineered products, puzzles. The first one we've got in our series, this one here, this is the ISIS one. It's based around an Egyptian theme. This one retails at £99. The current objective is in the series is to open each puzzle, and as you solve each puzzle, there's a key inside. Each key has 2 functions. The first function is to open one of the many pyramids that we've hidden and distributed throughout the UK. These pyramids contain gold and silver coins. These coins can be redeemed for a monetary value of up to £500. The second function is it plays an important role in opening the last in the series, ISIS 5. We also utilise the internet. The internet has our website. Our website contains a database of unique numbers. Those numbers contained on each of our puzzles and on the keys, when combined, will give you access to a map on our website that gives you access to the locations of the pyramids. Over to you, Dave.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Sales to date so far, first month sales, £93,000. We've sold 1,300 units in the first month and has delivered a £30,000 net profit. The companies we're selling to so far to date are Selfridges, Firebox, gadgets.co.uk, The Gadget Shop, Powerplay and Fraser Hart Jewellers. Thank you for listening to us, and obviously we'd like to invite you for any questions around our unique product. It is the world's most difficult puzzle.
Andrew Reeves and Dave Thomas want £200,000 for a 15% stake in their ISIS adventure puzzle. But the most difficult puzzle in the world is still a bit of a mystery to Richard Farley.
Gentlemen, I'm Richard.
Hi, Richard.
I'm just a bit puzzled.
Good word.
So it's a sort of a cross between a puzzle and a treasure hunt, isn't it? Because
Yes.
if I solve the puzzle, then I've got the treasure hunt.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. How are you going to stop on the internet instructions of how to do it, instructions of how to crack this code, and the location of those pyramids?
We can't stop that. But every single one has a different solution.
But the pyramids don't move, do they?
The
When I
pyramids
go
do
on the
move.
treasure
Yes, they do move. We move them.
How frequently do you move them?
Once they're found and the coins are gone, we move them.
Okay.
Andrew and Dave have answered Richard Farley's concerns confidently. Deborah Meaden wants to know how well the product has been received.
David, Andrew, I'm Deborah.
Hi.
You've obviously sold into some very good stores. So what's the feedback?
Brilliant. I actually, all Selfridges stores have sold the ISIS. As a point, I mean,
How many did you sell them?
They've brought 300 so far.
How many have they sold?
Virtually every one of them.
And what's your point of sale like? Because you've obviously had to sit there and explain this, and we've still had to ask you questions.
Yeah.
So how do I actually know why I'm paying £100 for a puzzle?
We have a couple of A5 posters which just demonstrate that it's the world's, we consider it to be the world's most difficult puzzle.
So your point of sale at the moment is opposed to saying the world's most difficult puzzle.
Yeah.
That's the answer I was after. Thank you very much.
Deborah Meaden seems impressed with the ISIS duo. But Theo Pafitis wants to know more about the business.
When did you start the company?
The company was formed in 2001, but we really have just been developing the product for the last 3 years. So.
And how much money have you put into it to get to the stage?
£200,000.
200,000. Okay. And so I just want to recap some of the figures that you gave, so we're clear. You're selling at £99 retail. So how much are you selling to trade for?
Standard trade price is £54.47.
And how much did it cost you to make?
£33.
And how many units did you say you've sold this month?
Well, first month's sales was about just under 1,300 units.
1,300 units?
Yeah.
And how many have you got left to sell?
We're always running out because the demand is so high, but we've currently got 400.
With healthy margins and demand currently outstripping supply, ISIS looks like it could become a profitable business. But Peter Jones is looking worried.
You've put in £200,000 of your hard-earned money into the business. What's gone wrong?
When we first launched this, we had no idea how big a demand there was going to be for the product. We thought we might sell 500 units in month one. We didn't have no idea we were going to treble that. If we could put an order in for 20,000 tomorrow, we'd sell them. But we need money to do that. And that's a problem for us at the moment. Our cash flow is pretty tight.
Why don't you just get an order for however many the market can absolutely absorb? walk into any high street bank, give them the order, say, look, I've got this order, I'll give it back to you in a few weeks' time.
Wouldn't that be brilliant?
But
In an ideal world,
that's how
that'd be
business
brilliant.
works.
Oh, does it? It's about risk, isn't it?
What, there's no risk.
No risk.
We do understand where you're coming from there. At the end of the day, we are selling this product to the UK market at the moment. Okay, it's selling well. But we've touched 1,300 people in a 60 million country.
Sorry,
It's just not adding up for
one
me.
more time, why aren't you borrowing from your bank?
With the greatest of respect, we knew it was a winner, but we never thought it'd be as good as what it actually is.
But then you don't need anybody to sell it then. It's selling itself.
You're contradicting yourself by saying you can't sell them. The bank manager say, how can you sell them? And then contradict yourself by saying you can't make them fast enough because they're selling so fast.
We can't
There's
make
something
them
not
fast.
quite adding up, Andrew. So it's not a product I would buy. It's not a product I would invest in. So I just wanted you to know where I am. I'm not investing, I'm out.
It's an abrupt setback. Inconsistencies in their responses have lost the duo their first dragon. Deborah Meaden wants to have her say.
Guys, I need to tell you where I am. You nearly brought me to the point of an investment at one point, because actually I quite like the product. And to be honest, the numbers speak for themselves. But if I was in your shoes, I'd ask my bank for the money. So I'm afraid for that reason, I'm out.
2 dragons are out in as many minutes, and frustration in the den is mounting. Theo Paphitis decides to have one more attempt at getting to the root of the issue.
What is the true story? Come on, let the guard down, tell us.
I'm going to be absolutely upfront about it, because you know how I feel about it. My biggest concern is production.
Okay.
Sorry, no, let me rephrase that. I have had concerns. However, through a lot of communication with our engineers, they're actually now starting to deliver.
Is there anybody else that can make them other than the people that do it?
There is a problem with that, because obviously the engineers that we currently produce them aren't going to let us have the drawings just like that. We own total intellectual property rights on that, but that still doesn't stop them from not giving us the drawings.
So they own the drawings?
No, they're giving us full intellectual property rights on the whole product.
Why can't they return them?
Because they won't.
I sense you've asked.
Several times, yeah.
You could say
So we're now doing reverse engineering on our own product to get the drawings.
You're getting someone to reverse engineer this now,
Yes.
as we speak,
Yes.
to get the
So
drawing.
we can try and ramp up production.
The ISIS duo have finally come clean about their production problems and, crucially, how they're trying to solve them. But will this be enough to secure an investment of £200,000 for just 15% of their business?
Andrew and David, this is a one-product puzzle company, but I think the product's very good, and I think the concept could catch on. But I actually think, as a risk-reward ratio, especially now hearing where you are in your supply chain, you have issues. Not to be able to get plans back from a supplier is quite a worry. If you're going to get your dream into that marketplace, I'm going to need to take a bit of a risk and a punt, and for that, I'm going to need a little bit more. So my offer to you is 100k for 25%.
It's a sudden twist. Tempted by the potential profitability of ISIS, Peter Jones has offered half the money. He wants a quarter of the business in return. Will Theo Paphitis or Richard Farley match the offer?
There's an interest from me, but there's only an interest if you were significantly move away from the sort of percentage you're talking at the moment. You would have to be thinking about the sort of numbers that Peter's talking about, which is, 25% for half of it at least. So you'd end up giving away 50% at least for your £200,000.
It's a lot higher than we were prepared to go.
That's why I used the word significant.
Yeah. I understand. We wouldn't be prepared to go to 50%.
Andrew and Dave could now have all the money they asked for. but they're balking at the 50% equity stake the Dragons want in return. So can they negotiate a better deal?
Before we commit to any kind of figures, I think I'd like to have a listen to see what Richard's got to say. I think you've seen the world market. You've seen the. I think Richard's seen the marketplace.
He's seen the light.
I think he's. No, I think he's connecting with it.
No, Dave, I think you completely misread me, actually.
Oh, well done.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry to. It's such an early business, and we're still talking. We're talking. The valuations that $500,000 or whatever. These sort of numbers. I think I can just declare myself out and leave you to negotiate with the other two.
The duo's attempt to play the Dragons off against each other to secure a better deal for themselves has completely backfired. Now their only option is to sacrifice half of their business or leave the den empty-handed.
I need an answer from you.
I'll answer the question. We aren't prepared to go to 50%. Let's now
Pleasure to meet you. Good luck with it.
Thank you.
I hope it goes well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, cheers. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
After a frustrating session in the den, the ISIS duo leave without the cash injection they came for.
I think they were meant to reject your offer. I mean, it's a good product, but they might have a few issues in the reverse engineering side,
Well,
which is...
there's always going to be problems with them, but there's no way they're going to get another offer now with all their problems.
Absolutely.
No, and I think they're going to regret it.
Yeah.
The Dragons never know who or what is going to appear before them, but few ideas survive the scrutiny of these multimillionaire investors. Nightclub doorman Matthew Brown from Glasgow wanted £60,000 to develop his device for preventing clubbers from having their drinks spiked.
This is just blue food dye, by the way, but it just sort of gives you an example of how it works. Nothing actually drops you into drinks.
Peter Jones thought he had found a fundamental problem with the product.
So whatever you do, you can't get anything in it.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
That system is flawed.
It's not a flawed system. You've actually just stuck that right through the middle of the valve because it is only a concept prototype.
If there's one thing the Dragons all hate, it's a non-functional prototype, and today was no exception.
You've had an idea.
Yep.
You haven't come up with a working prototype, and you want £60,000 to take on the drinks industry. You really have not thought this through.
And Deborah Meaden thought he should put a lid on the idea.
You sauntered in here with a bottle, plonked it on there. Peter showed within seconds that it doesn't work. You then value your business at over £300,000.
Yeah.
I would admire your nerve if it wasn't the fact that you're wasting my time. So, I'm out.
London-based Kane Zemarua and Kunle Abedakun wanted £100,000 to help launch their new publishing venture.
Swab magazine is the business and lifestyle magazine for ethnic professionals and entrepreneurs.
We've identified a niche which has definitely been not catered towards. We've also spoken with a lot of advertisers who've shown a strong interest and endorsements of it as well.
Duncan Bannatyne thought they'd get crowded out of an already competitive sector.
I actually produced a business magazine in Britain.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I couldn't live off it. It doesn't make a fortune. It's a difficult industry.
And Peter Jones was just as quick to write off the opportunity.
You ain't going to make any money out of it. And as an investor, that means I won't make a penny either.
And Theo Paphitis tore strips off the pair.
You've got no journalist experience. You've got no publishing experience. You've got no marketing experience. You're doomed to fail. I am out.
So far tonight, no one's left the den with the investment they need. Will our next entrepreneurs convince the Dragons they've got what it takes?
You don't really care about the environment, do you?
Your product doesn't save any money.
And what happened next? Catch up with some of the other entrepreneurs who faced the Dragons over the past 6 weeks.
People underestimate how much the Dragons bring to the table.
My relationship with Peter and Richard is just going from strength to strength.
Peter Ensinger and David Baker from Derbyshire believe their energy-saving invention is a great investment opportunity, so they're asking for £100,000. But will the dragons see any future in their idea?
Hello, my name is Peter Ensinger and this is David Baker, representing Ecotech UK Limited. We're here today to pitch for £100,000 worth of investment in our company for a 15% share. £750 million worth of electricity is wasted each year by equipment in people's homes being left on standby. 1.5 million tonnes of carbon dioxide.
Empty room, fill it up, talk is cheap, listen up, I don't know where we went wrong, but I feel I'm shaking these walls, yeah, nothing safe, gotta take cover, still of love, we just make glitter, running and running, yeah, we got off track, now we under attack.
That's a waste of power.
Right. The standby saver plugs into your electricity supply. You plug your TV, your DVD, etc. into this unit. It learns the remote control codes from your original TV equipment's handset and allows you then to control the power to your TV VCR from your existing remote control, so you don't lose the facility of the standby function. I'll demonstrate it to you. TV is off at the moment on standby, directly on the mains. My colleague will show you the reading on the meter. It's showing that the TV is using 20 watts of power in standby. Switch TV on. We should now have a picture. It's using about 75 watts. Switch to standby power. Wait for the standby saver to kick in. Down to 0 watts.
That meter is showing zero usage completely, no usage at all.
Any questions?
Peter Ensinger and David Baker are asking for £100,000 for a 15% share in their ingenious device to stop home entertainment systems wasting electricity when they're left in standby mode. Theo Paphitis is intrigued.
Peter, David, try and tell me that 25% of the power your TV uses is still being used when it's off.
On
standby.
On certain set-top boxes, it's 100%.
100%?
Yeah, it uses the same electricity as when it's fully powered up.
That is absolutely amazing.
People don't realise it's a lot of power.
But how much does this thing retail for?
£19.99.
And what does it cost you to manufacture?
Just under £6 each.
And where are you making these?
I'm actually making them myself.
Are you?
Here in my garage at the moment.
And if you mass manufactured these, what sort of cost would that be?
That's £3.50 each.
Can this be copied? Is it protected?
It is patent protected, yes. Yeah. The patent covers the operation of the unit.
It's a promising start. Peter and David seem to have impressed Theo Paphitis with their costings and protection. But Richard Farley has some questions of his own.
If the TV companies, could they build a device that you've got into their TV?
There's another aspect to the technology we've got is it can easily be incorporated into the manufacturing of televisions, computers, videos at the manufacturing stage.
It might be an easier route for you to go to the TV producers and say, we've got this invention, put it in the TV, and then you can put on the TV that this cuts massive amount of power.
We are talking to a major
set-top box
provider, and they are very interested. The gentleman we're speaking to also sits on the European Commission in charge of reducing carbon emissions. He straight away said the government should take this on board and make it compulsory for television manufacturers to install this product.
Absolutely.
It might be a few pence each television, but across the country it is hundreds of pounds.
Where are you at in any discussions?
Very, very beginning.
Richard Farley has uncovered another potentially lucrative application for the technology, which works as a standalone or could be licensed to manufacturers and integrated into new machines. But one dragon is not won over by their claims.
Peter, David, admirable, great invention. But how would you feel if I actually said that your product doesn't save any money?
Why?
Because if your numbers are right, you said there's 35 million households. 750 million is standby wastage in pounds per annum. Mm. That's a net cost per household, if I work it out, about £21 per year. Your cost of your unit is £20. And if you actually assimilate the fact that you might have one in your bedroom and then somewhere else, and then another television somewhere else and something in the kitchen, why would I bother to go and spend £80 on something that's only costing me 20?
Because that's one, you've got it forever.
There is a government statistic that says the average household uses around £8 a month in standby. On that basis, our standby save would pay for itself in 3 months.
Peter and David are holding their own, certain that their product offers both financial and environmental advantages. Deborah Meadham wants to explore how robust their patent protection is.
Peter, David, I'm much more interested in something you said quite fleetingly, because I don't think it's very elegant to have a plug with a plug socket and then...
rechargeable battery that is recharged while the TV is in use, which then powers the microprocessor and infrared receiver while the TV is in standby.
That's what I'm after, because that, you see, I think is very, very interesting, because there is, you know, that gives manufacturers a unique selling point, because we can't ignore the drive of the green issue, and I'm not scared of it. I don't treat it as this huge, I mean, it's great that it helps the environment, but it's a business issue.
So the thing is that, Peter and David, is that you don't really care about the environment, do you? Because what you've effectively done is you've stopped everybody who manufactures televisions from coming up with a device that takes their television off standby to be run by a battery. Your patent application now stops anybody in the world doing that, except you.
I'm sure as a businessman you appreciate you need to protect yourself.
Good answer.
Peter and David's confidence is growing. Theo Paphitis is ready to move things forward.
Peter, David, you're standing there telling me that you definitely have a patent application which you're very confident about.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
If that is true, then I am prepared to make you an offer. Now, I'm not going to offer you all the money.
Right.
But I'm prepared to offer you some of the money.
Okay.
So now I'm going to see what the rest of the dragons have got to say. Deborah?
I think I really like the product. We haven't spent any time talking about your numbers at all, because it's all about that product and that patent. But if I did make an investment, it would certainly be on the background of you have got to prove that that patent is as strong as you are telling us. Are you confident that you could do that?
I am very confident, yes.
No other device?
No other devices out there, definitely. 100%.
It's a bizarre turn of events. The two dragons seem keen to invest, but they're being unusually unforthcoming by not putting a figure on their interest. Will any of the other three dragons be drawn into the negotiations?
Listening to the other dragons talk about the fact you can license it to a television manufacturer, and being one not to ever want to miss out on opportunity, I would probably be interested as well. But I would like to see the money go towards that activity and not go into this plug, which I don't buy into.
Right. I agree. I agree entirely with that. I really think you should target the TV.
I don't know.
Well, we're going to have to... We've got
Because
Peter
I
and
think you
myself.
should be able to have a retrofit. There's people out there that will want a retrofit, and we've got a working model that's already costed. You don't have to spend all the money.
You
on
do
it.
both.
You should do both.
Exactly.
You should do both.
We are approaching to do both, definitely. Yeah. Let's look at it. Let's look at it from a different angle.
Yeah, 2-year payback.
It's a first in the den. No one has made a firm offer, yet all 5 dragons are already arguing over the best route to market for the standby saver.
It's about 3 years for payback by the cost.
Peter and David seem bemused, but will this unusual turn of events help them secure the £100,000 investment?
I just want to see it in a television set that could be the biggest explosion ever.
Absolutely. If the pattern stands up, then, you know, it sounds like we're all interested.
Well, we would need a budget on how much is going to go to the activity that Peter and I don't like very much, which is the product, and a budget for going into the real business.
Before you do that, you'd have to make an investment, and nobody's... All my philosophy says, you know, I'm only interested because of the possible environmental savings.
Likewise.
And I think that's a pretty fair offer.
Can we just have a...
You can indeed.
Okay.
Remarkably, Peter and David have convinced all 5 dragons to split the £100,000 investment. But in return, the dragons are demanding 50% of the equity, not the 15% originally on offer.
We're not happy, to be quite honest, giving away 50% for the business. However, we fully appreciate having 5 dragons is a fantastic achievement. So we'd like to say yes, thank you.
Excellent. So yes, we got you've got a first ever. This has never happened.
I don't know how you did it. You did it.
It's never happened.
Peter and David have made Dragon's Den history, with all 5 multimillionaire investors joining forces to back one product. Even the dragons are amazed.
I don't believe we just did that.
I really hope that pattern is real,
Yes,
because it will be fantastic.
Yeah, that's a good thing. And to be honest, it's good for the product that we're involved as well.
Just hope it doesn't ruin our friendships.
Well, 5 dragons, that is a first. Is that a result or what?
That is fantastic. We are so pleased with that. It's nice to be the first. It's nice to get all 5 dragons interested.
But you've given away half the company.
We're not happy giving away 50% for the business. However, having 5 dragons is a fantastic achievement. We came with an agreement that we would not give more than 40% away. But to have all 5 expertise is worth losing the extra 10%.
Plus also I'd like to have 50% of a lot of money and 100% of nothing.
You're a bit numbstruck, aren't you? This is actually quite a sort of emotional experience for you, isn't it?
Very.
Roller coaster ride.
Definitely.
Okay. Well, very, very well done. Very well done.
Thank you.
Over the past 6 weeks, dozens of entrepreneurs have climbed the steep stairs into the den to try and prize an investment from the multimillionaire dragons.
I'm looking for 50,000.
£100,000.
£200,000. £250,000.
Many failed.
There's nothing there to invest in.
I actually think that adds a danger.
It's as useful as a pair of knickers and a kipper.
You know, you're trying to milk it beyond belief.
You're idiots, basically. Sorry, I can't work with idiots. I'm out.
But some succeeded.
I'd like to accept the offer.
Terrific.
Well done. Good decision, Roger.
Well done. I would be happy to do the deal.
You got a deal, Miles, son.
I'd like to give you an offer.
I would accept gladly.
So what has happened since they left the den? 19-year-old Christian Lane was...
Love to accept your offer here.
Well done.
But in return for the £80,000 investment, Christian had to give away 35% of the company, not the 15 he'd originally offered. And he's had to make another big decision.
Since Dragon's Den, I've had to move up north where Ryman's headquarters is. Theo's team, they're probably the best people to work with in terms of developing this product, and it's going to be a really great experience.
And Victoria is confident that Theo Paphitis has backed a winner in Christian.
The next few months we'll get the first range of products out and launched, and then obviously I think the best thing for us is to start then developing the other ranges. There are other product ideas that Christian has. You know, the next couple of months are probably just a start, and hopefully we'll continue for a long time.
Professional wrestler Tom Jones came up with an unusual way of grabbing the Dragon's attention.
So I think each and every one of you pencil-pushing geeks needs to stand on your feet and respect me, as I am an international superstar.
But he couldn't convince them to back his wrestling academy and promotions business.
The sales were... The sales for the shows were... I think the turnover was... Numbers isn't my strong point, to be honest.
Right, I thought the gathered numbers were your strong point.
Down but not out, Tom has channeled his frustration into beating his opponents in a scaled-back tour of the Southwest with his team of wrestlers. Former firefighter Casey Jones from Birmingham came to the Den looking for £100,000 for his high-tech sanitising unit. But it looked as though he'd leave empty-handed when concerns were raised about Casey's deal with the manufacturers and the strength of their patent.
Other people must be able to produce these machines. Is that not correct? If you don't know, say, I don't know.
I don't know.
But Richard Farley and Deborah Meaden could still see enough potential to offer Casey the investment he wanted, although they took 50% of the business, not the 30% that Casey had offered.
50%?
Yeah.
It's got to be 40. It's got to be 40.
Not me, I'm afraid, Casey.
Deborah Meaden has already been to Birmingham for her first business meeting with Casey.
I spoke to Casey yesterday, and Casey said that when we shook hands after the Den, he got a nice warm feeling, he said, and he's frightened again of meeting me, so I reassured him that we're now on the same side with the same goals, so I think he is looking forward to it with trepidation. Within the Den that are a condition of investment. That is the status of the patent with the Koreans, and the other is the exclusivity agreement, the arrangements that you've got with the Koreans.
I have the exclusivity contract here, signed by the chairman of the manufacturing company. I'm really confident about everything that I've said. However, I don't know whether I can actually convince them to their satisfaction.
Thank you. Casey has allayed some of the concerns. Both Richard and I are very, very keen to get this investment moving fast. So I've given them a very tight timescale.
Ling Valentine stunned the Dragons with her eye-catching marketing tactics for her car leasing website.
I'm Ling, my famous Chinese nuclear missile truck, my trademark.
Richard Farley and Duncan Bannatyne did make her an offer, but she turned them down.
I think it's a bit too much. I really refuse that.
You're turning us down?
Yeah. Well, Chinese eat dragons for breakfast.
Since leaving the den, Ling has added a new weapon to her arsenal, a double-decker bus. And she plans to tour the country in it to drum up more business. The Dragons often think they've seen it all.
If I can just take a moment.
But Imran Hakim from Bolton stunned them with his unique pitch accessory, a full-size teddy bear.
To introduce you to iTeddy.
Duncan Bannatyne was singularly unimpressed.
Hate to see the growth of it. I hope it doesn't work for you. I'm out.
But Theo Paphitis and Peter Jones saw enough potential to invest £140,000 in Imran and the iTeddy, a soft toy with an integrated MP3 and MP4 player.
You got a deal, Miles, son.
Despite sacrificing a 40% share in the business, Imran has no regrets.
We've made a few mistakes, but none that have actually... People underestimate how much the Dragons bring to the table, apart from their investment. Their business now, their entrepreneurial expertise.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded. Play the game like it.
I went into our local bakery and there was somebody actually talking about iTeddy. They didn't know I was there, but it was great just to hear two people talking about a product that they'd seen on Dragon's Den and the fact that they thought it was a great idea. That was very fulfilling.
Mike Carr from Dundee made a memorable visit to the den, looking for investment in his drive-safe glove.
And basically the idea is, if you're going to France, you would put the glove on your right hand. This would then remind you and any other driver in the vehicle to stay on the right-hand side of the road.
Something tells me this isn't going to work. I don't know what.
Undeterred, Mike's still trying to get the business off the ground by sending samples to car hire firms around the world.
If everybody stopped doing what they should be doing just because somebody says no, well, we'd never get anywhere. So it's just, you've just got to keep pushing on and believe in yourself and believe in the product.
He's still convinced he's onto a winner. Former dancer and choreographer Denise Hutton warmed the Dragons' hearts with a little help from pupils from her Razzmatazz theatre schools. Four of the Dragons didn't like Denise's subsequent performance.
I'm going to decline the offer. I'm going to say I'm out.
So I'm going to say I'm out as well.
So I too, I'm out.
I'm really sorry, Denise, but I'm out.
But Duncan Bannatyne has made money in this sector before and backed Denise to the tune of £50,000.
I want to invest.
Denise has now signed contracts with her new Dragon investor, and they plan to launch 6 new franchises later in the year. Every entrepreneur over the past 6 weeks was utterly convinced their business could make millions, but only one was prompted to burst into song about it.
Put some music in my food for me and give me some reggae, reggae sauce. Hot reggae, reggae sauce.
Reggae singer Levi Roots dazzled the Dragons further with claims of a huge order for his spicy condiment.
I've got a very nice order for, wait for it, 2.5 million litres of reggae sauce.
The Dragons thought something didn't quite add up.
That's not 2.5 million litres, it's 2,500 litres.
Okay.
But Levi still managed to appeal to Peter Jones's appetite for deal-making.
To try and range one product is kind of almost impossible. So, to let you know where I am, I like impossible challenges.
Peter Jones and Richard Farley each offered £25,000 for 20% of reggae sauce.
I would accept gladly.
Hey.
Levi left the den with the money he needed and 2 highly experienced business partners.
It's got some peppers and some herbs and spice to
Since then, Levi has been in the recording studio putting the finishing touches to the reggae sauce song, which he's released as a charity single in support of comic relief and sickle cell research. And as for the sauce, well, in record time it's hit supermarket shelves across the country and has made headlines.
It's called reggae sauce, a family recipe that's been handed down through the generations.
Levi is thrilled with the help he's been getting from his 2 Dragon investors.
My relationship with Peter and Richard is just going from strength to strength. This is what's going to take the sauce forward.
And Levi thinks this is just the beginning.
It's just been moving so fast my feet hasn't touched ground. Ever since the show, it's just been like bang, 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 everything. You know, I'm on the crest of a wave, as they say.
It's been an extraordinary 6 weeks in the den. The Dragons have made more investments than ever before in the most diverse range of businesses we've seen, from hot jerk sauce to a children's theatre school. And today, for the very first time, the Dragons have all shared a deal, as each one of them grabbed a stake in the eco-friendly standby saver. So, while others have left with nothing, for the entrepreneurs who secured investment, the hard work has only just begun. Goodbye. If you have a business idea or invention you'd like to pitch to the Dragons, then visit our website, bbc.co.uk/dragonsden.
And the Dragons return for a brand new series later in the year. Next tonight on BBC Two, Joe's career on the line with Party Animals coming up.